A lot of the farm groups have said that consultation wasn't as open and full as it could have been, I guess, right?
Yeah, our commissions, all of the grain commissions and cattle commissions have been in consultation with this since the election. Even through the summer, we were meeting with them saying, okay, what are we going to do? But what the premier did is they said they were going to bring in health and safety when they had the election back last spring. But what they did is that with Bill 6, it kind of turned it into an omni bill. So it covers four points. It covers health and safety, it covers employment standards, it covers labor legislation, and it covers workers' compensation. And this is where the farmers and ranchers have got very confused, is where does one part of it start and when does one part of it stop? So in the future, what can we have on a small farm, or what can we have on a large farm if you have more employees? So back in November 19th, when we talked to workers' comp, they said no, everybody had to be under it, family farms, Hutterite colonies, and so on. But I'm proud of the farmers for going and doing their demonstrations, because in this way, and they made it come to a point that family farms, don't have many employees or part-time employees. So do they need to be underneath of all this Bill 6? So from what I gather from the minister's office just in the last few days is that we will have workers' comp will become mandatory, but health and safety standards and workers' comp, if it's a family farm or a multi-family farm where they have no hired employees, they will not be under that part of the legislation.
Will Hutterite colonies be?
Hutterite colonies, they have no paid employees, and they're a multi-family farm. This is what they're being classified at lately. And so that means that they will not have to take workers' compensation. Or if you have a family farm with just your family helping you run your farm or your cattle ranch, you will not have to have workers' compensation, because you'll just be working with your own family. The health and safety standards will be coming into place, but as right now there's no legislation wrote for that. So the rules are, the bill's going through, but there's no rules wrote for it yet.
And the details are still being worked out, right? And do you have confidence organizations like yours will be able to represent farmers and get these concerns in before the rules are actually written out?
Well, it is quite disappointing for all of our farm organizations. We've tried as hard as we can to get into the minister's office and the premier's office to go through the consultations to help write it up. But as of right now, they just says, we'll tell you what you need to know when the time comes. So on January 1st, the rules of Bill 6 will come into law. But yesterday we talked with the Premier's office, and they said that we don't have any of the rules wrote yet. So health and safety standards will be coming for all farms and ranches on January 1st, but there's no rules, so I can't tell you what the rules will be. The only thing that's coming through on January 1st for sure is that they know that workers' compensation will be coming in as of the end of April. So the farms and ranches that do hire employees, cattle feedlots, they will need to start talking to their accountants and start working on a plan for workers' compensation. But it seems like the rules change every day. So the commissions, I just want to let all the farmers and ranchers know, and that we're trying to work with them as much as we can, but we're having a hard time getting through with our message that we need to let the farm organizations help set up the rules so that it'll work for it. Farming and ranching is so much different than working in an industry where you go to work 8 hours a day. Our hours change every day, and we do something different on the farm or ranch every day. So this is where a lot of the confusion's coming in for the farmers. And one thing I want to say is I appreciate the city people putting up with this Bill 6 and with the farmers driving their tractors on the road. But you can see how much non-communication we've had with the government. We know that it's coming, but yet we have no rules or legislation set up yet.
So you said one of the concerns that some of the employers and the employees have is that this is actually a step down for them.
Some of the larger cattle feedlots and larger farmers, they have very good insurance policies with their insurance companies. So if you're hurt off the job or you're hurt on the job, you are covered 24 hours a day. If you have disability, they have disability insurance, they have different kinds of insurance if they're hurt. Under workers' compensation, you're only covered while you're working. And on a lot of the employees that I've talked to that work for these larger farmers and ranchers, they don't want to have workers' compensation because if they're hurt off the farm, then or off their workplace, then what do they do in the future? How are they going to be covered? And the coverage is way lower on workers' compensation than it is under some of the insurance policies like Manulife. So a lot of the employers are having trouble with this new bill. A lot of the employees are having trouble with this new bill. And then also the farm associations, the commissions, they're having a hard time with this new bill because it's coming through whether we like it or not, but yet we don't understand the rules and we can't get the rules from out of the Premier's office. What
was I going to ask you? Oh, I want to ask you about another issue that we're told is included in Bill 6, and that's farmers giving up. They have no say in how their land is used in some cases. For example, under this bill, we're told that power lines now, windmills, certain things that are structures that are put up, farmers have no input on that anymore.
That's
is
under.
Is that a change or not?
This is under Bill 36. This is a separate bill. So I know you guys can edit this, so
right.
Maybe I should stop for a second.
Okay.
Bill 36 is property rights of farmers.
And is that a new bill too?
That's a separate bill that was starting to get put through by the Conservative government, but that's separate. Okay. So I know that this is the problem with Bill 6 is that it got really confusing. So Bill 36 is your property rights where a power line or a pipeline could be put through your land. So do you want?
That's a misunderstanding by some.
Yeah. So do you want to start on this? I know this is a problem. Is it? And then when you ask the ministers, they don't understand. so I don't know if you want to start that over again. Ask me that again.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of misconceptions about what the bill contains, right? I mean, there are all kinds of things going on how this is going to affect property rights and other things too. Yeah,
under Bill 6, it is just the four pillars of the Omni Bill. It's called. So you have labor relations, you have employment standards, you have health and safety, and you have workers' compensation. So this is under Bill 6, and that's where there's a lot of discommunication. There's another bill that's being pushed through with the provincial government, and it's under Bill 36, and this is on property rights, where a power line or a pipeline or windmills could be put on your land without the farmers or the ranchers' permission. And so there has to be communication on that bill, which is a separate bill, so that way we understand where they're going with it. And then also what's got confused in this too is the carbon tax bill, where we're going to get a carbon tax brought onto us, and it's going to be raising the fuel prices 5 cents a liter for all farmers and ranchers. And so this gets confused into it too. And this is the large problem that we have with the farm organizations and the commissions is we need to slow this all down. We need to explain which each one of these is coming forward. We need to keep each bill separately, understand to all the farmers, ranchers, and the citizens of the province, this is what we're working on, this is how we're going to keep it separate. So we've asked the Premier's office, and we've asked the Ag Minister Transportation offices in Edmonton, let's slow this down, let's separate it, and make sure everybody understands it. But the Premier says that she has timelines where she wants to put things through, and so they're going to be pushed through. And so this is where the total confusion still starts. So our commissions, our large farm organizations, the cattlemen's groups, we're saying, look, we'll work with you, we'll help organize it, we'll help get this sorted, but you guys have to slow down. You have to let us work with you. You have to let the farmers have the input into it. And this is where the disappointing farm is part for all of us farmers and ranchers and associations is that the Premier's office said, we'll put through the legislation and then we'll work on the rules.
And there's been no closing of that gap in the last few days? They
There-
haven't said, yeah, we will work with you, we'll.
They have done a lot of changes. If you go back to November 19th, they did say this is the rules, you have to follow it. So they have changed some of the rules, like on workers' compensation, on whether a family farm is included in it or whether it's just employees. It almost seems like it's becoming more about employment standards and legislation rather than the Safe and Healthy bill that it was originally put forward as. It seems like it's changing more so that you don't have to be under so much health and safety and workers' compensation. It's almost becoming like a legislation bill. And this is where...
Have you seen any action on the consultation? Have they given
No.
you firm dates, we'll meet with you on a certain date, or we will do this, or?
We have talked to the deputy ministers 2 days ago. Our staff in Calgary at our offices did. They had it with the deputy minister, and they said, yes, we want to communicate with you, and we want to make this go forward, but we'll tell you the rules in January. So it's like they can say that they're communicating with us, but they're really not. They're telling us what to do. And this is the disappointing part for the groups, is that we want to go and meet with them and say, here, this is what we need to do on behalf of the farmers and the ranchers. So they said that once it's through, then they'll start doing amendments. But it's very concerning for us that if you're going to put a bill through and you haven't got the regulations in place and the rules in place, is that what amendments can they do? They can continue on. So I'm trying to be as honest about this as I can, that we're trying the best, and I want the farmers, ranchers, and the citizens of Alberta to know this, but we're trying to figure out how to make it work, and we're just having a hard time.
Right, okay. That should be good for on camera.